Here we go. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 22nd of April. Okay, first things first, quick look at the news events today. There is not a great deal at all actually. I'll show you on here, or actually I'll switch across. Nicely and clean version there, nothing much at all. Actually the other version does have speakers on, so but we've already had the Chinese data out there. We've got very little else. We've seen the Swiss National Bank speakers coming through there, but yeah, it's very low level. There are a couple of speakers at 4:30. We've got Lagarde speaking at 4:30, and Villeroy, so a couple of ECB speakers. We're all done with speakers. Let's get on and see some nice price action in the markets. So talking of which, euro dollar here has chopped absolutely horribly for the last 5 days in real terms. We had the big sell-offs effectively the previous Friday. Then last week it's really been a bit of a horrible sort of wait to see what's happening next. I'd like a continuation to the downside, but have a look through here, and it's just not really showing its hand too well at all. I'll come back to that 4-hourly picture. Actually, you see how whippy it's been. We've seen a sort of an air kiss of the new weekly pivot above, but I'm looking for the downside. That's where the trend is. So really, to be short on the euro, I'd want to see it below that weekly pivot now. Quite ugly on the hourlies here. It's maybe a tad bullish on the short term here, but it's, as I say, not looking good. So certainly not going to risk money on that. The pound, well, that carried on yesterday Friday. It did break down. See how my brain's geared and is wired here, can't you? Anyway, it did break down on Friday there, and sell off below. For me, it would be quite nice to here for a little rally into the weekly pivot and then look for selling off of that. We've got the daily pivot above there as well, so really you could look to be selling before then, but with the probability of either of those being hit close to mid to high 70s, it's almost a case of waiting to see. Dollar yen continues to lose ground here and is pushing up further, slowly, very slowly. Actually, it's near the tops again. As I've said quite a number of times, it's just not for me at the moment. I'm just staying out of. I think the risk of potentially at some stage something a bit more meaningful from the Bank of Japan might occur, and we could see the yen start to strengthen against the dollar here. The dollar's been pushing up all the way. So, leaving that, Aussie dollar now. The Aussie dollar, I do like the bear side on this at the moment. Did find a bit of support into its monthly S2, which it bounced off of. Again, like the euro though, we're above the weekly pivot at the moment. I'd like to see it dropping below, so it's a bit more of a drop below. We have got the draw of the daily pivot below us as well at the moment. So, yeah, really, I'd personally just prefer to see a continuation of this move. There would have been a divergence between these two lows, so there'd be buyers coming into this market on that basis. Hasn't quite broken the high between the two lows, so it's not triggered the long side for me at the moment, and some will argue about the double top that way. So anyway, my preference is to look on the short side below the weekly pivot, so I'm actually popping a little alert on that. So just to remind me, US dollar CAD has been strengthening in the shortish time. The bigger time frame, obviously, it's still been pushing up there, but it has put a lower high in. Structurally, it's changed a little bit better, and it's a little bit cleaner than some of these other markets against the dollar. The dollar having obviously softened here against it. It's a bit ugly on the dailies. On the hourlies here at this stage. I haven't got an immediate setup there. We'll see what it does this morning. Bit of patience here, but I haven't got anything right now. But it has been gaining a bit of strength. It hasn't caught its weekly pivot. It's up the top there yet. Again, as ever, I do like if it's starting to roll over, a retrace into that and a reaction would be good. New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar choking around a little bit here. It's been kicking around those lows for a while there. Again, it's one that's probably shown a divergence here. If I put the indicators on, well, it will be showing a divergence. Hasn't quite taken that at the high between the 2 points. That hasn't triggered for me. It wouldn't have triggered it. Again, waiting for the breakdown of the pivot. So just a bit of patience to see which way these markets are running. Swissy, well, softening still, and that's the way the Swiss National Bank really want it. But for me, there's no setups there at the moment. But it is softening, so I'll come back to it in case things start developing. Cross pairs euro yen. Euro yen just been pushing up here. As I regularly say, this is one of the most shorted currency pairs. Don't do it. Yep, it might do it actually. It's near the double tops here, but it isn't a reason to short. It's still in an upward trend, and all these people that were shorted and think we're in the money, and then all of a sudden it's turned completely right around against them. The trend is certainly up there. The risk sits there with the yen softening. So I would leave that. I'm not into this, and I'm not particularly keen on the long side. There is a little strategy I play on the 60-minute time frame. I've seen very few setups recently on it. It's just not setting up. It's not triggering, or if it does set up, it doesn't trigger. So not great at all. Okay, I'm going to come on to these other pairs in the room in a short while, but it's just for the YouTube here, nipping in look at other markets. Gold. So gold off this morning a little bit. Again, it's not one for me to be selling. I know there'll be people that want to be selling this. It's habit, isn't it? Sell at the tops. Sell high, buy low, isn't it? Trouble is they sell high all the way up here and here. Yeah, I'm looking, is there any buying opportunities? Maybe if it was to get back above its weekly, it would look more attractive. So there's a few of these markets inverted or whatever. I'm just sort of waiting for them around their weekly pivots at the moment. Crude oil. Crude's been coming, I mean, we had the spike on Friday there, effectively coming back to its weekly pivot, monthly pivot even, eased itself back. We had that quite big surge there, 8 o'clock in the evening there, pushed on through a little bit back into the weekly pivot and rolled over again. But it is looking soft. It looks like some of the tensions in the Middle East having eased, may have helped things. Lower high coming through here. Haven't got anything right at the moment, but it's normally 2 o'clock in the afternoon my time. I'm looking for trading oil, so I like it. We'll see what reaction it gets off its monthly pivot here. It might get a bounce off that. It's got high lows, higher highs. It looks attractive from that point of view. S&Ps, E-minis. Well, we saw a continuation on Friday to the downside there. At the moment, it's to me looking soft. Got to be aware this week we've got some major companies. The big 7 are reporting, and some of those today. So just watch out. They could really give this market a move. What we're seeing is possibly so much positivity being priced into this market. We could be a case of selling on the news. So with what we're seeing technically here from a 4-hourly point of view, the lower highs, lower lows, to me it's a fair game if we're seeing triggers to short at the moment. Yes, it has had a good move up there, but as I said, structurally it's changed, certainly on the 4-hourly time frames with lower highs. It's broken its daily 50, looking soft. Nasdaq and the Dow, similar sort of cases there. Good reasons to do either. Dow Jones slightly better on Friday there, a bit of a pop there, but they could all sour a little bit. The DAX doing okay this morning. It's just catching a bit of a break potential. There's a better trend line there now. I should really draw this trend line. Oops, didn't want to do that. There we go. Just draw that trend line up there. There's the current trend, if you like, for the DAX to push up. It has put a higher low in on this 4-hourly time frame. Is looking a little bit more positive. It's back above its quarterly pivot. However, could be dragged down this afternoon with the US data if it drags down. FTSE similarly doing well. It's doing pretty well actually this morning, flying along there. Pre 8 o'clock, it's pushed up there quite nicely. Higher lows coming through there. Yep. Anyway, looking quite solid at the moment. Right. One last thing. Let's have a quick look. I haven't looked at it this morning. Bit of a recovery in Bitcoin here, marginal recovery. Well, I'll say marginal is a reasonable amount of recovery. Weekly wise, it's almost up to its last week's pivot where it reacted to earlier on in the week, but it's currently above its this week's pivot, and looking like with a higher low structurally, it's maybe on for a bit more of a bounce, but we'll see how it reacts to the 50, etc. But anyway, there we go. I thought I'd better have a look at that for you. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you for you YouTubers. I'll catch you in the morning, tomorrow morning. Bye for now. There we go.